Parker, I know you've had a kicker competition going on in the spring. Just as you kind of go into the summer, where do you feel like you're at with that?
I feel like we're in a good place. We had really 3 guys getting a lot of reps in the spring. You guys saw Jake's no longer here, so we really got 2 guys that both had great springs. Jaden and Parker. Jaden kicked off for us last year. You guys have seen Parker's got experience other places. We're excited about the fall. A lot of talent. Now it's time to figure out what happens down the line.
What are the biggest things you're looking for in terms of determining who that kicker will be this year?
It's a consistency thing. You really want to have a guy. You want to have a guy that you know what you're going to get. That's really what it comes down to. He's got to make kicks. Got to be dependable. So,
is there any preference toward having one guy handling field goals and kickoffs, or is it just whoever's better in each area?
I think it depends on the guys. Some people really want to do both. Some people want to do one. I think there's an ability for guys earning kicks on both. You can earn some kickoffs, earn some field goals based on kind of how you're practicing. We kick off a lot here traditionally. We score a lot of points. You kick off a lot. So a lot of times down the stretch you don't want your leg to have too many kicks, and then sometimes there's that balance of kicking off helps you. So it kind of depends on the guys and who's better at what.
What did you think of John Fleming?
How did
that come about?
He had a good spring. We had an interesting dynamic last year with our starting long snapper getting hurt. You never want injuries. You planned for him. Mason stepped in, did a really nice job. And then we went out and wanted to have competition. And so John had great film as a freshman. I know some people that knew him, out of Arizona State, and he wanted to come compete against the best, and he did. And I thought he had a really nice spring, really good spring. So,
is there competition there still than what you're talking about, or is that just trying to think what should be involved?
Well, Max Lamonaco, he was the backup in the spring, and he had a really good spring as well. But John's got a lot of starting experience, and I'm excited about that room, that position. And we'll see where it goes. But right now, John he had a really nice spring. Max did too, but that was kind of where it went.
Losing Caleb Brown, where are you at now with the kick return situation?
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys that have done it around here. Mecca obviously 2 years ago was really good. Xavier Johnson into the season for us last year, had a really nice little stretch there. We've got a bunch of names of guys that can do it. We feel really good about it. There's always that balance of how do you make sure you have the right guy to do all your different jobs. You probably don't even, you go back to the beginning of, 21, Travion was back there to start. And then he started getting a bunch more carries, and our running back room has a bunch of different players. So we'll see, kind of how the fall, the summer and fall develop, but we feel good about our depth. The question is who's going to be that guy, and I'm not quite sure where yet.
How do you feel about just the de-emphasization of the return game, with the specialization of the punting, the 25-yard fair catch? How do you feel about all of that?
I feel like player safety is really important, and that's, as you can see, that's one of the reasons that they're doing this. I think the NFL just changed the rule to do kind of similar to what we do. There's some weird nuances to the way the rule is written that actually kind of gets screwy, where no one knows it's going to happen, so there's still a lot of contact before. Some teams choose to fair catch based on hang time and direction, and so you really can't prepare. You still got to run down and go be ready to tackle. So there's a little bit of it, I think, that if they really wanted to say, hey, give people the choice, there are a lot of nuances to it. I think it should be an advantage for us. The fair catch kind of, lets people off the hook, lets us off the hook sometimes in spots where, certain teams might have onside kicks, and then you can say, hey, we just want to fair catch it on the back end if they kick it deep and not have to, have a return, so our guys can really be focused in on the ball. It creates a weird wrinkle that you got to adjust and adapt and play within the rules. But I think we've had an advantage around here a long time with the old rules, and player safety is really critical.
At punt returner, is Emeka your best option? If you were some other guys that are in the mix there.
Emeka was our guy last year. Obviously Jackson was the guy, and then Emeka, kind of stepped in, and that was a big role for him because he had to play a lot of slot receiver as well. You see his success there. There's some other guys. Caleb was practicing back there. Jaden Ballard was back there in the spring. We've had Carnell Tate catching punts. Obviously there's a lot of internet went crazy with when Marvin was catching punts during spring practice. But the truth is, getting the ball back is number one, and then deciding what happens next is kind of game flow situations. So we want to have a bunch of guys ready to do that. It's not an easy job, but if you practice it enough, you can get good at it, especially with those ball skills that those guys have. So I feel similar to the kick return situation and the punt return. Different guys, but we have good depth. It just depends on who does it. So, yeah, you're good.
When you get a guy
Yeah,
here like
thanks.
Lorenzo,
Yeah.
do you see him as an option for this kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean,
He's defensive back, but he's obviously played receiver.
You know, it's something you got to practice a lot of ball security. You know, we've tried different guys. We tried a guy, Chip, that was playing defense last year as a kick returner. There's certain things at punt return that you just want to see him do it a lot. I know he played receiver at Notre Dame, and, you know, we recruited him as both here at one point, and so he's got speed, and so there's always a threat there that you like to be able to take advantage of, and we'll see how it plays out.
What's the balance that you look for when you have receivers who are going to have the ball in their hands a lot and take a lot of hits, and then considering them as a return guy? Is there an accumulation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, how